A family almost sold an old Winchester at an estate sale for $800. That same kind of rifle later brought roughly $1.2 million at auction. That is the nightmare every gun owner should understand. Not because every old rifle is a treasure. Most are not. But because the one rifle you treat like a dusty wall hanger might be the one collectors have been chasing for decades. I have seen it happen around gun shops, gun shows, and estate tables. Somebody walks in with an old lever gun, calls it Granddad's deer rifle, and the first man who actually knows Winchesters gets real quiet. That silence usually means one thing. The owner has no idea what is in his hands. For the last 20 years, top-tier Winchester values have climbed hard. Meanwhile, families have kept selling historic rifles like they were just old hunting guns. That is how serious money disappears. Not from recoil, not from rust, from not knowing what you own. Today, we are looking at 5 Winchesters that may still be sitting in American gun safes right now. Every one of them can be worth more than a new car. And by the end, you will know what details to check, which markings matter, why condition can change the price by tens of thousands of dollars, and why you never sell an old Winchester until you know exactly what it is. Because the difference between an old rifle and an auction headline can be one serial number, one factory letter, or one mistake at an estate sale. Number 1 just shattered a record most collectors never saw coming. The Winchester Model 70 Supergrade, made before 1964, is where this list begins. And this is the most common gun we are going to talk about today. That should tell you what kind of list this is. Winchester called the Model 70 the rifleman's rifle. That was not just marketing copy. It earned that name in the field. It went up Mount Everest with expedition hunters. It rode in the trucks of professional hunters across Africa. And United States Marine Corps snipers carried Model 70s in Vietnam before the military had fully standardized a sniper rifle. The legendary Carlos Hathcock made some of the most famous shots in Marine Corps history behind a pre-64 Model 70 chambered in .30-06. When gunwriter Jack O'Connor wanted one rifle for the rest of his life, this was the rifle. A Model 70 and .270 Winchester. That combination sold 1 million rifles on its own. So what makes the pre-64 version special? In 1964, Winchester's accountants won a fight against Winchester's gunsmiths. The company was losing money on labor costs, so Winchester moved to cheaper manufacturing. That meant stamped parts, push-feed actions, impressed checkering instead of hand-cut checkering, and the end of the controlled round feed claw extractor that made the original famous. Shooters noticed right away. They did not need a press release. They could feel it when they worked the bolt. Used pre-64 rifles started outselling new rifles at some dealers, and from that point on, pre-64 became one of the most famous dividing lines in American gun collecting. Every Model 70 built before that change was machined from solid steel forgings and fitted by hand. The Supergrade rifles went even further. They got the best walnut Winchester could source. They got hand checkering. They got the cloverleaf tang. They got a polished job that took real craftsmen real hours. These were not rifles Winchester built just to hit a price point. These were rifles Winchester built to prove a point. Here is where the money starts to separate. Standard pre-64 rifles exist in the hundreds of thousands, but supergrades in rare chamberings like .220 Swift or .358 Winchester were made in low thousands, sometimes low hundreds. And this is the detail most owners miss. Condition is everything. These were hunting rifles. They were carried through brush, hauled in trucks, and hunted in real weather. Most were used hard. A 98% original rifle can be worth 3 to 5 times more than a worn rifle with the same serial number. Back in the 1970s, a clean supergrade could be bought for under $300. Today, common calibers can bring $6,000 to $12,000. Rare calibers can climb into the $25,000 to $40,000 range. One mint .358 Supergrade sold for more than a loaded Toyota Tundra. That is a deer rifle outperforming the stock market for 50 years. If you want to check yours, start with the serial number on the receiver ring. Anything below 700,000 is pre-64. Then look for the Supergrade marking on the floor plate. Look for the cloverleaf rear tang. Look for the original butt plate. And do not overlook originality. A swapped stock, recut checkering, or replace part can cut the value in half. So do not clean it up. Do not refinish it. Do not let the first cash offer decide what it is worth. If you have one, get a professional appraisal before you sell it. The gap between a quick gun show offer and a real auction result can be measured in thousands of dollars. That is the buyer lesson. The Model 70 Supergrade is the practical hunting rifle that became a blue-chip collectible. But number 5 is still the most common gun on this list. The next one was a shotgun so expensive in its own day that most Americans could not afford one new. Today, the right example can be worth more than a luxury SUV. The Winchester Model 21 is a side-by-side shotgun built for a different kind of buyer. This was not the shotgun sitting behind every farmhouse door. This was Winchester trying to build the finest American double gun it could build, even if the math did not make sense. In 1931, deep in the Great Depression, Winchester launched the most expensive American shotgun ever built. Families were standing in bread lines, and the Model 21 cost more than some used cars. That sounds crazy now. It sounded crazy then. But the shotgun found its people. Ernest Hemingway owned one and shot it for decades. Clark Gable owned one. President Dwight Eisenhower hunted with one. So did generations of Hollywood stars and Wall Street men who wanted a top-tier double gun without crossing the Atlantic. Quietly, it became the American aristocrat's shotgun. Winchester knew it, and the company kept building it at a loss because the Model 21 carried prestige. The reason it is valuable today is the same reason it nearly killed the product line back then. There was no cheap way to build it. Every Model 21 was basically a custom gun. The barrels used a patented interlocking system instead of soft solder. That helped make it one of the strongest double guns of its era. Winchester trusted the design so much that the company staged a famous torture test. Factory crews fired 2,000 high-pressure proof loads through a Model 21. That kind of abuse wrecked competing shotguns from England, even guns costing 3 times as much. The Winchester kept going. Each action was filed and fitted by a single craftsman. The wood-to-metal fit was tight enough that you could not see daylight through it. High-grade guns went through Winchester's custom shop with hand engraving. That kind of work does not come from a high-speed production line. It comes from time, hand-fitting, and people who knew what a double gun was supposed to feel like when it closed. By the 1960s, the Model 21 was losing money on every gun. When Winchester restructured, the 21 survived only as a custom-order shotgun, one gun at a time, for buyers willing to wait months and pay thousands. That is why supply is so thin today. Total production across more than 5 decades was roughly 30,000 guns. Compare that with the millions of Model 12 pump guns Winchester built, and the collector math is easy to understand. A field-grade Model 21 that sold for around $400 in the 1950s can now bring $8,000 to $15,000. But the custom shop guns are where the real money lives. A Grand American grade with gold inlays, hand engraving, and extra barrel sets in a fitted leather trunk case can sell between $40,000 and $90,000. That is not a car. That is a car and a boat. Because every Model 21 left the factory with detailed records, documented guns with celebrity or presentation provenance can go even higher. Here is what to check. Look for Winchester Model 21 on the barrel flat. Then look for a second set of fitted barrels in the case. A true 2-barrel set can double the value almost overnight, and if you inherited one, do not judge it like any other old side-by-side. The case, the second barrel set, and the paperwork may be worth almost as much to a buyer as the gun itself. That is the takeaway. The Model 21 is not just a shotgun. It is Winchester prestige, hand-fitting, and custom shop records all rolled into one. Before we move on, think about this. Does anyone in your family have an old double gun gathering dust in a closet? Because the next Winchester is the one I see showing up at estate sales mislabeled and underpriced more than almost any other. The Winchester Model 1886 Deluxe is not just another old lever gun. This is John Moses Browning's masterpiece lever action. The action was so strong and so smooth that Winchester paid him a fortune for the design, and they never really improved on it. Browning was still a young, mostly unknown gunsmith out of Utah when Winchester's people saw his single-shot rifle and got on a train to find him. The 1886 deal that followed launched the most important partnership in American firearms history. That is not collector hype. That is the beginning of a whole era. Theodore Roosevelt carried an 1886. So did Western lawmen who wanted a rifle that could handle almost anything in North America. It chambered the big black powder cartridges, including .45-70 government and the Monster 50 Express rounds. And it cycled them with a slickness modern factories still struggle to duplicate at any price. Here is what most owners do not understand. Standard 1886 rifles are valuable, but deluxe examples live in another world. Back then, Winchester let customers order rifles almost like a custom suit. Fancy checkered walnut, octagon barrels, case-hardened receivers with colors that swirled like oil on water, takedown systems, special sights, shotgun butts, pistol grips, extra-length barrels. The order book ran deep, and every one of those factory options was recorded in Winchester's ledgers. Many of those records survive today through the Cody Firearms Museum in Wyoming. That means a deluxe gun can often be verified by a factory letter where records exist. For a small research fee, that letter can confirm exactly how the rifle left the factory about 130 years ago. In the collecting world, that letter is the line between a good story and serious money. Verified guns bring strong prices. Unverified claims bring suspicion. We are now at the halfway point. And this is where the list stops being merely expensive and starts getting life-changing. Because the production numbers on the last two guns are about to get very small. Total production of all 1886 rifles was about 160,000 over 30 years. But genuine deluxe examples with multiple special order features are a much smaller pool. Collectors estimate only a few thousand survive in original condition. In the 1960s, these rifles traded hands for a couple $100s. Today, a standard rifle in honest condition can bring $4,000 to $8,000. A documented deluxe rifle in high condition can bring $40,000 to $100,000, and the ceiling is much higher. In 2016, the 1886 presented to frontier hero Captain Henry W. Lawton sold at auction for roughly $1.2 million. At the time, it was one of the most expensive single guns ever sold at auction. Same model, same basic action. The difference was the story, the condition, and the documentation. That is why paperwork matters. To check one, look at the upper tang behind the hammer for the model marking. Then look for checkered wood. Look for an octagon barrel. Look for special order features. Then get a factory letter before you even think about a price. This is the lesson. With an 1886 Deluxe, the rifle is only half the story. The factory record may be the other half. Every gun on this list has at least tripled in value over the past 20 years. But the next two are where the real money lives. Number 2 is a rifle that literally built the legend of the American West. The Winchester Model 1866 is the rifle collectors call the Yellow Boy. And this one matters because it was the first firearm to ever wear the Winchester name. When Oliver Winchester reorganized the company in 1866, this brass-framed lever action became the founding product. It was the direct descendant of the Henry rifle, the rifle Union soldiers famously described as the one you load on Sunday and shoot all week. The improvement was simple, but it changed lever guns forever. Winchester shop foreman Nelson King added a loading gate on the side of the receiver. That allowed a rifleman to top off the magazine without taking the gun out of action. That feature-shaped lever actions for the next century. The brass receiver gave the rifle its Yellow Boy nickname, and on the American frontier, it became one of the most desired trade guns you could own. Plains tribes prized them. Yellow Boys were present at the Little Big Horn on the winning side. Cowboys carried them. They showed up everywhere from the Great Plains to the Middle East. The Ottoman Empire bought tens of thousands and used them with devastating effect against Russian troops at the Siege of Plevna in 1877. That battle made European armies rethink the repeating rifle almost overnight. The value driver here is simple: age, attrition, and brass. These rifles are now more than 150 years old. They were not safe queens, they were working tools. They rode in saddle scabbards through rain, dust, and rough country. The soft brass frames dented. Many were worn out, many were lost, many were scrapped. Total production was around 170,000. But high-condition survivors are genuinely rare. And early examples with Henry-style markings or unusual no-loading gate variations are crown jewels in lever-action collecting. 50 years ago, a decent Yellow Boy was a $500 gun. Today, honest examples can start around $5,000 to $10,000. High-condition rifles can bring $30,000 to $70,000. Documented early production or historically connected guns have crossed $200,000 at auction. And unlike modern guns, the supply curve only moves one direction. Every fire, flood, bad refinish and careless cleaning takes another survivor off the board forever. The brass frame is the obvious identifying mark, but do not stop there. Check the serial number on the lower tang. Pay attention to configuration. Carbines, rifles, and muskets all bring different money. Original finish on the brass and barrel is everything. Low 4-digit serial numbers mean you should call an auction house, not a pawn shop. And whatever you do not polish the brass. Collectors want the dark, honest patina of 150 years. A Saturday afternoon with brass polish can erase $20,000 in value before dinner. That is not an exaggeration. That is the kind of mistake people make when they think they are helping. So the takeaway is simple. With a yellow boy, age is value, originality is value, patina is value. Do not clean it up before somebody who knows Winchesters looks at it. If you are a serious Winchester collector, you probably already know what number 1 has to be. But even if you guessed the model, you may not have guessed the price. Think about this. Every gun so far on this list was made by the tens of thousands at minimum. Number 1 was made in a quantity you could fit inside a single auction room. Most gun owners will go their entire lives without seeing a real one, and several are still missing. The Winchester Model 1873 1 of 1000 is the king of this list. The regular Model 1873 is already famous. It is the gun that won the West. It was carried by homesteaders, lawmen, and outlaws. Billy the Kid was photographed with one. It starred in a Hollywood film with Jimmy Stewart. Winchester produced more than 700,000 of them, and a standard example in decent shape can be a $5,000 to $15,000 rifle today. That alone is more than a used car. But in 1875, Winchester's marketing department created something different. Factory testers fired every barrel for accuracy. The barrels that shot the very best, roughly 1 in 1,000, were set aside. Those barrels were fitted with set triggers and fancy wood. Then Winchester engraved 1 of 1,000 in flowing script on the barrel. The premium price was $100. That was a fortune in 1875. Several months of wages for a working man. All for a rifle whose main difference was that the factory said it shot better than the other 999. Here is the number that matters. Out of more than 700,000 Model 73s, Winchester made roughly 130 documented 1 of 1,000 rifles. The program flopped commercially. Winchester's own salesman worried it made the standard rifles look second-rate. So the company quietly killed it after a few years and barely mentioned it again for decades. Fewer than 60 were known in major collector references. There are rarer guns in the world, but almost none have this mix of fame, documentation, and demand. The 1950 Jimmy Stewart movie was literally named after this rifle, and Universal Studios ran a nationwide publicity hunt to find surviving examples. Farmers and ranchers pulled them out of barns and closets. Several known survivors today were discovered because of that movie campaign. Think about that. A Hollywood marketing stunt is part of the reason we know where some of them are. Now let us talk money. A 1 of 1,000 in poor but honest condition can start in the low 6 figures. Strong examples can bring $400,000 to $800,000. The finest known examples have approached and exceeded $1 million. At that point, you are not talking about a new car anymore. You are talking about the whole front row of the dealership. And here is the haunting part. Collectors believe several dozen may still be unaccounted for, sitting in attics, misidentified at estate sales as old cowboy guns, riding around in scabbards on ranches where the family has no idea what they own. Check the barrel near the receiver for the script engraving that reads 1 of 1,000. Look for a set trigger, and even then, verify it. Because on a rifle this valuable, markings alone are not enough. If you ever see those words on a real rifle, you are not holding an old wall hanger. You might be holding somebody's retirement. Whatever you do, never sell a Winchester without knowing exactly what it is first.